So I do have a lot of success stories from all over the world. It might be time to move on. I mean, come on. But he finally got her back. So
I showed up with my new boyfriend because, I was already on to the next. And
I don't want you back, but you could at least be asking for me back. So
right.
You're playing on their ego. So in this case, their ego is your amigo.
So today we have a great guest again because we were having so much fun with Miss Lucia on our last episode that we asked her to stay, and she politely said yes. Lucia, the dating expert. And today, what are we going to talk about now, Lucia? I know you have another field of expertise, right?
Yes, I do. Today, we're going to talk about everyone's favorite topic, how to get your ex back.
Aha!
Very interesting. Good one.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah.
We all have an ex that we want to get back, don't we? Or we have in the past?
I'm going to say no on that one.
Not right now.
That's the only thing in my life that I would say no, but I know there are a lot of people that do want to get an ex back. I agree with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. And people make a lot of mistakes when they're trying to get an ex back.
Okay.
And
like
so
what?
that's where I come in. Okay. Well, I mean, it starts with, when someone breaks up with you and we don't want them to, the tendency is to try to talk them out of it or to beg and plead, like, please don't break up with me. And that never works. So
if you like our videos, go ahead and click on like and subscribe. We really appreciate it. Thanks.
So don't ever beg and plead or don't ever try to talk them out of it, because when you think about it, you didn't have to talk them into dating you in the first place. So how are you going to be able to talk them into not breaking up with you? So you have to do the hardest thing in that moment, which nobody ever wants to do, but it's the thing you have to do. And that is to just accept the breakup and just say, okay, no problem.
Yep.
Good point.
And you go along with it. And then you have to do what is known as no contact, meaning you do not contact them under any circumstance, no matter what, unless, and there's two exceptions, unless you were broken up with because you either cheated or you took your partner for granted. So obviously, if you cheated, you should be trying to get them back at some point. You can't just go into no contact and think, well, they're going to have to call me. Well, no, you cheated. So it's up to you. And then if you took them for granted, and this is more true, like women tend to break up with guys if they were taking them for granted, don't you find? Yeah. And so, if you're broke up with your guy because he was taking you for granted, and then he doesn't contact you at all, then it's like, okay, well, he doesn't care, because even though I broke up with him, he's not trying to get back with me. So if you were broken up with because you took your partner for granted, then at some point you do have to reach out and try to get them back if you want them back.
Right. This is interesting because I know you do a lot of private coaching with people on this kind of thing, right? And were you telling me that sometimes people think it's like an emergency, like they need to get a hold of you right away? And I want to know what this emergency would be. Like, what do they say when they finally get a hold of you?
Okay, yeah. I mean, I do offer regular coaching available, and then quote unquote emergency coaching.
Right.
And that means you can speak to me within 24 or 48 hours. But I have to tell you, most of the time when they book an emergency coaching, it's not an emergency. It's not like we're in the ER on life support.
I need a fix right now.
Yes. I mean, you've already been broken up with. So unless, you just heard from your ex that day and they want to see you that day or within 48 hours and you don't know how to handle it, okay, yeah, that would be, I guess, an emergency. Right. But usually people are feeling so anxious about the breakup and about being in no contact. That causes a lot of anxiety because they don't know what their ex is up to. They don't know if they'll ever hear from their ex. And that's why I have a lot of videos on my YouTube about no contact success stories where people talk about the fact that they did no contact and then they heard from their ex and they got them back. So I put those up to help people be less anxious while they're in no contact. But yeah, that would be the main reason, because they can't handle the anxiety and they need me to reassure them. And then they go, do you think he'll come back? And, you know, I'm always kind of cheeky with my response. I'm like, well, I'm not a psychic
Right.
because you can't always tell. I mean, sometimes I say, yeah, I really think you're going to hear from your ex. And sometimes I'm thinking there's no way they're ever going to hear from their ex again. But, you know, you never know. So
That's true. I say everything's possible, but is it plausible? We don't know, right?
is it, yeah, is it
I mean, sorry,
probable?
is it probable? I didn't mean to say
Right.
plausible.
Yeah, yeah.
Anything's possible, but is it probable? Probably not.
Right. But
So,
the good thing about no contact is that you have a much higher chance of at least hearing from your ex, because it plays into a lot of things. One is into their ego, because when they broke up with you, they expected you to beg and plead, or, you know, contact them later and go, oh, please take me back. And then when they don't hear from you at all, it's like, wait a minute. You know, how come they're not asking me to get back? Even though I don't want to get back with them, why aren't they at least asking me? So
yeah, right, exactly.
I don't want you back, but you could at least be asking for me that. So
Right.
You're playing on their ego. So in this case, their ego is your amigo.
I like that. Their ego is your amigo. Yeah, I had an
That's
ex
right.
one time wait for me at my normal hiking grounds, you know, and I showed up with my new boyfriend because, you know, I was already onto the next. And I
Good.
was like, and then he starts texting me and stuff. And I was like, you know, I'm already seeing somebody else. And he was like, well, I just wanted to make sure you were okay. I'm like, yeah, right. You know?
That's funny.
But it's like, if they, like you said, it's all about the ego, right? They think that you moved on. That's really going to bruise their ego.
Yeah, exactly. So they use that excuse that they're just checking in on you. But what they're really doing is it's like, wow, I can't believe I didn't hear from you. It's like,
Right.
you know, I want to check in on you and see, like, because in a way they're hoping that you're not doing well, because it's an ego boost. It's like, oh, they're still crying over me. I'm so wonderful. They're so upset. But then if you say, oh, hey, I'm doing great. How are you? They'll be like, what?
Yeah, wait, what? Yeah.
So what would you say your success rate is? Do you hear back from people ever after you've coached them? And, you know, what would you say?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, the chances of getting an ex back are low as it is to begin with. Because if you think back, I mean, how many exes have you gone back with?
Well, unfortunately, I've gone back with a couple, but they weren't successful.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a reason it didn't work out.
Exactly. But for the most part, people don't go back.
Right. I agree.
So already the percentage is already low. But at least, you know, with coaching, then I help you to not make the mistakes that would help you to get them back if there's even a chance. So I do have a lot of success stories from all over the world. Recently, one guy, he had been a client for 3 years.
Wow.
This is
that guy's dedicated, huh?
You know, he would not give up. And he's my longest client. I mean, he just refused to give up. And even I at some point was like, listen,
give up.
It might be time to move on. I mean, come on. But he finally got her back. So,
oh, that's sweet.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Yeah, I agree. That is dedication, boy. And I have heard of those stories. You're right. But like you said, it's not very probable. The percentages are very low.
Well, and I also think the reason for no contact is to give them time to miss you, give them time to appreciate what they had with you. And when they're, you know, when they don't have you in their life, they do start missing you. And sometimes it's really just a matter of absence makes the heart grow fonder. And then maybe they'll come back without you even having to do anything.
Well, that's the idea. That's why you absolutely have to stay in no contact. And usually I found that you'll hear from them between days 45 and 60.
Oh,
so
that's a long time.
Well, it is, but you know what? It takes people that long, because the first month they're fine. They're fine without you, usually for the first month.
Yeah.
Then after about 5 or 6 weeks, they start to get curious and they're like, I haven't heard from her. I haven't heard from him. I wonder what they're up to. It's like, that's strange. I thought they would at least be calling. And then week 7 and 8, which is days 45 to 60, then that's when they're most likely to reach out, because it's like, you know what, I'm just going to, give them a call and see what's up, give them a text or what's going on. And that's usually when people hear from their exes and they're always surprised. They're like, Lucia, you were right. I heard from him on day 47 or day 60, 60.
I love the fact that you have this down to like a, you know, a graph. You know what I mean?
Actual numbers.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's math.
Yeah.
It's mathematical.
Right? It's like we're going to show 2018, 2019, 2020. You know, with the coronavirus, it'll be interesting to see, you know, how that has affected people wanting to get back with their exes. You know.
Well, I actually did a little survey on that, and about 50% of people did hear back from their exes, but they didn't all get back together. They just heard from them.
Right. Sure. Because they're lonely.
Yeah.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So yeah. So do you find this more enjoyable, the getting your ex back rather than the older woman, younger man, or do you like them both? You know, working in both of those areas.
I like them both. I mean, obviously the whole older woman, younger man thing is a lot of fun, but it's really satisfying when I can help a couple get back together.
That's true.
Because, you know, they were in a lot of pain, and, you know, I helped alleviate that pain. And I realized, you know, like people have written to me and they said, you know, now we're getting married, or, you know, we got married, now we have a baby.
Aww.
And it's like, in a way, I'm responsible for that baby, in the sense that if they hadn't gotten back together, that baby would not exist.
They may have some babies named after you in the future, you know, Lucia, Lucia, Lucia.
That's right. They should. Or Luciano, if it's a guy.
Yeah, that's true.
There you go.
Santa Lucia.
That's right. Yeah. So it's very satisfying to know that I'm helping to alleviate people's pain around the world.
Hey, I think it's a good thing if you could, like, you know, I never really thought about it, you know, when you told me you were doing this. I'm like, getting my ex back, I don't want him back. But, you know, obviously there are people that do.
Some people do. Yeah.
Yeah. And I have to thank the guy who broke up with me. Because he's the one who got me started on this. Because usually I'm the one to break up with guys. And so when he broke up with me, I really didn't know what to do. And so, like everyone else, I went on YouTube to find out what to do. And I found out about the no contact. And luckily then he hit me up after about 2 weeks. But by that time I was not very happy with him, let's say. And so I didn't respond. And so he kept reaching out and I didn't respond for about 2 months. And so I'm like, this is interesting. He broke up with me, then I didn't respond, and he kept reaching out. And so I just started to study more about the art of getting an ex back. And that's how I came to specialize in it. And then my life totally changed.
Wow. Yeah. Have you written any books on any of these subjects?
I have, actually. I'm glad you asked.
Wow.
I actually have a book.
I didn't know that.
Funny you should ask.
Yes.
I actually have a book called No Contact Secrets, where I give you all my no contact secrets, and that's available at nocontactsecrets.com.
Aha.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Lucia, my question is, do you get more guys or gals contacting
yeah, that's a good
you to try to get their ex back?
Okay, well, let me ask you, what do you think it is? You think it's guys or girls?
Girls.
Kimbra?
I don't know. I'm going to guess guys, since she said girls.
Right, and you're right, Kimbra. It is guys, actually.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, I would have thought it was girls, but I could see that. Why do you think that is, that the guys want to get, you know, because I think this is my little theory. Tell me if I'm close. Guys, you know, they take women for granted and this and that, and then they get broken up with, and then after the woman's gone, they go, oh my God, we were so in love. What happened? But meanwhile, I have a theory about that. It's like the guys with the clicker. We were so in love. What happened? You know, I mean, the remote. I should say the remote.
That's funny.
What do you say?
That's partially the reason. And then actually the other reason is because a lot of guys, they start to behave beta.
Okay.
So they were alpha in the beginning, and then they became more beta. And as you know, women are not turned on by beta men most of the time, and they're turned off. And then that's when women say, I don't know, I just don't feel the same, or I love you, but I'm not in love with you. And that's a code for you became a beta.
You know, that's a good point. I did have that happen to me in my very first boyfriend in my 20s. It was like he became so the woman in the relationship that I started to lose interest, you know?
Right.
Because he wasn't as ambitious enough for me, and I'm, you know, I'm always trying to do stuff, and he was not a go-getter. Not saying that everybody has to be a go-getter, but he became very complacent. So that was like a big turn off.
Yeah, so then they call me, and then I realize what the problem is. So then here I am, I'm a female telling guys how to be guys.
Right.
You got to be more of a man. So.
Right. When it's appropriate.
Yes. Well, I mean, they have to be just more take charge and set
Right.
boundaries. That's usually the problem with beta men, is that they don't set boundaries. And so, of course, the women walk all over them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's
And
so
women
true.
don't want to be with a guy that they can walk all over. I mean, they don't want a guy who's totally controlling, but they also don't want a guy who they can walk all over. So you have to be a nice guy with an edge.
Right. Good point. Yeah, we may want the beta guy for our friend, but very seldom do we want that for our boyfriend. That's what I think.
Right.
Well, you want a
Exactly.
strong man. You want somebody that, even in your friendships, you want somebody that's true to themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and not just always giving you everything you want to make you happy, because in the end, it's all about one person, and that's not a relationship.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. Exactly. But
point.
guys think, oh, I always have to give in. Like, no, you have to set some boundaries. Otherwise, the relationship is going to end.
She won't
Right.
respect you. She'll
That's
lose
true.
respect.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, this has been very exciting and enlightening.
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't know
fun.
there was so much to this subject.
Oh, I mean, I could talk for hours, obviously, but instead, if people go to my site, No Contact Secrets, they can actually read 2 free chapters of the book.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay.
And what is your website again? Did you say it?
No, and the website, if you want to actually submit a question or find out about getting coaching, is theartoflove.net.
Okay.
Oh, wait, you blurbed out. Did you say the art of love?
Yes,
Yeah.
theartoflove.net.
That's it. Okay, I heard you that time.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yes. Well, you've been very entertaining, and I'm so glad we finally got you on. Unfortunately, we had technical difficulties, so we weren't able to see you. But, Lucia looks just as pretty as her picture, as I said before. So next time, hopefully we'll see you live.
Thank you. Yes, hopefully next time. All right. Well, thanks again for having me on.
Yeah, it was
thanks,
fun.
Lucia. Yeah. Thanks for
Thank
the
you.
tips.
All right.
Okay,
Get
my
your
pleasure.
ex back. Get your ex back.
That's right.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
See you
care.
later. Bye.
Bye, lady.
Bye.
Bye-bye.